Yo, what's up guys? It's Joel from Easy Engineering and welcome back to another video. So today I thought I'd talk about how you can make an FM sound lead using just a simple kick and Ableton's arpeggiator. So let's get right in and open up another channel and let's find a kick that we can use. Now I think selecting your kick is very important because it determines the kind of frequency content that the sound is going to have, how the arpeggiator is going to react with the kick sample, and then obviously what will kind of indicate the kind of processing that would need to be done to get the sound sounding really fat, such as this sound. Anyway, so let's go find a kick. Yeah, maybe this one. Maybe this one will work. Next, what you're going to do is open up a MIDI clip and just have one long note playing. Open up an arpeggiator. Change it from sync to free, and you can leave it between 20 milliseconds and 10 milliseconds. Somewhere around there, it kind of gives it that FM sound. There we go. Next, change it to a high pass filter, or you can even do a low pass or band pass. But for this example, bring up the resonance. There we go, I quite like that one. Next, what we got to do is open up a second arpeggiator, and this is going to act as our rhythm arpeggiator. It's going to create that movement, you know, the variation between note lengths and such. Now you can change the style from up to random or random to up, or whichever one you really want. It's just going to create different movement within this example. And yeah, next you're just going to have to mess about with the gate. This determines the note length, so when you mess about with it, cool. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to mess about with your filter frequency. Now, let's just cut this over here and paste. Now let's clean up the sound a little bit. So use some EQ, clean up all the low end, let's say around 200 maybe. Next, what you can go and do is you can add more rhythm or movement to it by adding some more steps. I do this by bringing up the steps to about 2 or 4, adding in a random, and then adding in my scale to make sure that these random notes are sticking to the same scale that I'm writing my track in. Next, you can mess about with the choices, the chance, percentage, the scale. You know, you can mess about with the steps, but I quite like it at that. And next, you can actually just do some more processing to taste. So you can add yourself a delay, ping pong delay. Next, what I like to do is I also like to add a phaser just to give it some bit more body. But I'm going to put the phaser before the delay because I want the phaser to be delayed. I don't want the delay acting first before the phaser. Signal flow is extremely important. I think you should always consider it, always think about it. Let me turn on the sound, it's really loud. Apologies for everyone listening. And then you can just kind of let's see how that sounds with the kick and bass. So now with the phaser, I'm getting a completely different sound. You can drop the dry and wet down. See, this is creating kind of a squelchy FM sound, very organic sounding, almost, I guess you can call it.
Is this organic?
And then, yeah, you can just kind of keep going in and processing it a bit more, add some saturation, maybe a reverb, a bit more delay. But always think about less is more. You don't want to over-process it because then you kind of kill the sound and you ruin the original intention of what the sound was meant to be like. So I'm going to leave that at that. That is pretty much the technique over there. I will go through just very briefly how I got to this sound over here. Because essentially what I'm doing is I'm using two instances of the kick, but the second instance is just behaving in a slightly different manner. So over here, same technique. You see I got my first arpeggiator as my rhythm arpeggiator. Then I got my random. Then I got my scale. Then I got my arpeggiator that is actually arpeggiating the kick to make it that kind of FM gritty sound. Here's my kick sample. So I've got myself a high pass filter on it. I've messed about with the ADSR a little bit. What I've also done is I've added an LFO to the pan just to give a little bit more movement. Obviously gone in, EQ'd out my low end and just a bit more shaping over there. I've added a saturator, added my phaser. I've got a delay over here that's really short time. And that kind of creates, you should look up something called the Haas effect. It's not essentially what I'm doing over there, but it falls into the same idea of a delay behaving in such a quick time that it kind of creates stereo with sound. It's a really interesting concept within audio. Then obviously I got my delay, reverb, and then I've just kind of added a glue compressor just to compress the sound. The second instance of the kick that I'm running is it's got the same arpeggiator, random, scale, second arpeggiator. But what I've done is I've changed it to a band pass filter. I've still got my LFO on the pan. And then what I've done is I've added a max for live LFO onto the gate instead of myself automating the gate over here. I wanted it to follow a different kind of pattern. And that's what I've done over here. I've used LFO, mapped it to the gate to create that different kind of rhythm. I've also gone in and added a second LFO mapped to the filter frequency. Just again, I wanted something different, but it kind of sits in the same realm of the same similar sound. And then obviously kept my EQ, saturation, phaser, delay, and reverb. Now with this phaser, I think I've done it a little bit differently. So I've just changed the pole, added up a bit more of the dry and wet. And essentially what I'm going to be doing with this, it's just to get rid of any staticness, keep the momentum or the movement going. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I can go in and take out some of the settings. I can change some of the parameters a little bit, you know, and just create a variety of sounds using literally a kick and then some processing. And there you have it. And there you have it, an FM sounding lead using just a kick and Ableton's arpeggiator. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, comment down below. And obviously, if you want to see more of these videos, hit that subscribe button and make sure that you hit the little bell button on the side to get a notification when I release a next video. Anyway, that's it for the video. That's me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.